Hello, hi. As you guys can tell, we're very much zoomed in. And the reason being is that I have been seeing this trend all over TikTok where everybody's wanting to bring back their 2016 makeup era. The bright, bold, beautiful eye looks, the matte face, the matte lips. And I thought, how did I do my makeup in 2016? And well, it was horrible. It was horrible. So what I thought, I'd do a little twist on the trend that I've been seeing right now. I thought I'd do half my face of the way I do my makeup now versus half my face of the way I used to do my makeup back then. So with that said, guys, grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's see if I improved over the years. Okay, so starting off, I just washed my face. Back in 2016, I didn't really know a lot about skincare. I think 2016 was almost 10 years ago, so I was like 25, 26 years old. And at that time, I was just dipping my toes into the beauty world, watching beauty content. And as much as I would absolutely love to do bright, bold, beautiful eye looks in today's video, we're going to save that for another video actually, because I really will do a 2016 makeup look. Just stay tuned to that because I want to see if I actually can achieve it. But at that time, when it was 2016, I really wasn't doing anything heavy makeup wise. I was just doing very, very basic minimum makeup, especially because I was a server at Disney and I was only allowed to wear so much. So I thought it'd just be really fun to kind of challenge myself to do my makeup the way that I used to compared to how I do it now. Now, obviously the products I have in front of me are not going to be the products I had back then for the most part, just because most of them are discontinued or expired and I don't have them in my collection, but I'm going to try my best. So starting off with skincare, I'm going to go into the Thayer's. This is the Hydrating Milky Toner. Like I said, all I used to do back then was wash my face and that was it. I didn't really put on moisturizer or any of that stuff. I half the time didn't even wash my face. It probably explains why I have such large pores. But now I really take such good care of my face. So we're going to go in on this side with the Milky Hydrating Toner. I do not skip my skin prep routine. Literally all I do is wash my face. And my skin prep routine is the exact same thing as doing my morning skincare. Like I do not skip it. I do my morning skincare every single night. I do my nighttime skincare every single night. I really, really, really love skincare. And sometimes I just want to go back in time and smack a bitch. You know what I mean? I just want to go back and smack my old self and be like, bitch, if you don't start taking care of your skin at a young age. And what's so funny is my parents used to always tell me, you're going to want to take care of your skin, take care of your skin. And I was always like, no, I'm never going to age. I was such a little bitch. My God, if only I had listened to people back then, but I chose not to because I was just thinking that I knew what I was talking about because I was watching YouTube and I was like, they'll never steal me wrong. Please. Please. Okay, next I'm going to go in with the Thirst Drops from e.l.f. Even though I get really oily, there's something about these Thirst Drops that I just absolutely live for. They do such a good job at adding extra hydration to my skin, but without overwhelming it at the same time. It doesn't clog my pores. It just makes my skin extra hydrated, which is really, really necessary when you have really oily skin like myself to keep your face as hydrated as possible. Help your skin to not produce as much oil because it's already super hydrated. It doesn't need to overcompensate, which is what my skin does a lot. So we're just going to go ahead and bring some of that down. And I'm just trying to keep it all to this side, which is just very, very interesting to see. So I don't know if you guys can already tell the difference between the two sides. And then lastly, we're just going to go in with the Bioma. This is going to be the moisturizing gel cream right here. I absolutely love this moisturizer. It's an oil-free moisturizer. Again, it is absolutely fantastic if you have really large pores and oily skin like myself. It is safe for sensitive skin and it doesn't, sit heavily. It's a very lightweight moisturizer and it's non-comedogenic and I really do appreciate that. Okay, so while it's drying down, we're going to do my brows. So I'm going to start off with how I do my brows now. There's really nothing special to it just because I am not a brow person. I'm not a brow expert. I just kind of fluff my brows up. I'm not one to like feather brows, just so you guys know. Like I'm not a feather brow person. I never have been. It's just not something I'm really into. So I'll just lightly take my Benefit Precise My Brow and I'll just kind of fill in the little sparse area. So I'll kind of underline it right here. That just kind of give a little underline. And then I'll just kind of softly fill in the sparse area like so, very lightly. Go back and brush it. And then just for this little part right here, I will take the Benefit Mighty Fine Brown Pencil and I'll just lightly flick the hairs. And that's literally all I do my brows. Like I said, there's nothing really spectacular to them. I don't really care too much about my brows because I try not to over pluck them, because I do know that as you age, you do tend to lose your hair. I'm trying to keep them like I'm trying not to get them over plucked, but just kind of nice and filled in as best as I can without doing it too much. So that's just how I do my brows. Now back then, this is how I did my brows. You see that? I didn't touch my brows. Yeah, see, no, brows wasn't a thing for me then. I didn't even know I was supposed to do my brows, so my brows were just this. I made sure I didn't have a unibrow, but I didn't actually like do my brows. So my brows were like this. I didn't even brush my brow hair. So the fact that I'm gonna sit here and do this makeup look knowing that it looks like this when I just really want to brush it, torturous. But we're not gonna touch them. We're not gonna touch them because I didn't touch them back then, so I'm not gonna touch them now. I gotta keep it consistent. So moving on to primer. Half the time I did not use primer. I just went in straight with foundation, because remember I used to watch videos of people being like, primer's a gimmick. Don't believe in primers. I don't believe in it. I remember like Rob Beauty Christie in particular really hated primer. So I was like, I should hate primer too. But primer is based upon your preference. I have really oily skin, so I do have to use primer to help to lock in that makeup, to help to hold down that makeup, make it mask, to help to lock in my skincare, help to prevent my oil from coming through, help to minimize the appearance of my pores, and to help to lock in my makeup. So when I did use primer, I did not use the right primer. So for this side, we're just gonna go in with a lot of drugstore products. I'm just really into drugstore makeup lately, but we're gonna go into the e.l.f. Power Grip Matte Primer. I really love this primer. I think it's an absolutely fantastic primer. Even if you have really oily skin, this does a really good job at helping to lock in that makeup and helping to prevent any oil from seeping through. Now for me, because like I said, I get oily skin, I put the primer everywhere because I want to make this makeup last as long as possible. But back in the day, I didn't do that. I just used whatever I saw on YouTube. So I'd use like the Tatcha Silk Canvas. I use the Origins. I would use whatever was available for me. I didn't necessarily pay attention to what the consistency was, what the formula was, what type of skin type it was really geared for. I just grabbed whatever primer. Like the one I used a lot was the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. And I hated that primer. My makeup looked like shit, but I didn't really realize why. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't really knowledgeable like I am now. So to try to make up for it, we're gonna go with the Tatcha Silk Canvas. Now this right here is not meant for oily skin at all. It does a pretty good job at like making my pores look somewhat smooth, but that's all it did, right? That's really all it did. And then I would only put the primer right here, right in my T-zone, just like this. That is all I do. I didn't really realize that I was supposed to blend it out and put on the rest of my face. I would just kind of push it into here, right? Or I take like an IT Cosmetics, like Bye Bye Red something or Bye Bye something. It was like a Bye Bye Pore thing. And I take it and I just push it into my pores to really help to minimize my pores. Because there was like a Nikia Joy Cosmetics video long ago. And some girl named Steph Lange too, who used to have like these IT Cosmetics like CC style creams where like they're like in a little pot like this, and you take it and you just push it into pores to help to minimize the appearance of the pores. And I would do that. I would buy it, I'd push it in, I'm like, oh my god, my pores are still visible. Why? It's because I just generally wasn't doing it right, and I would never do my makeup like that now. That was like something I was really obsessed with taking and like pushing it into my pores to try to minimize them, to make my makeup lock. But I didn't really understand what I was doing. I was just copying the tutorial and not really grasping the information of what was being said to me like I probably would now. But this is, you guys can already see the difference. Right here is there's a little bit of shine, but it's very tacky. And right here you can see where it's really nice and smooth. And you can already like see like there's like kind of like a color difference between the skin too. This looks super high shine and radiant, but with tackiness because of the primer, and this just looks really smooth. So for foundation, this was my holy grail foundation for years. I wore this foundation to work every single day. I got my coworkers on this foundation. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, and it still is. And this is the reason why I'm even inspired by this video to begin with, is because I was at CVS and I saw this and I was like, I forgot what this foundation was like. And it's the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. This was my favorite for absolute so many years. I absolutely love this. This was really good if you have really oily skin like myself. So I was like, let me just go ahead and try this again, because my holy grail, I think since like 2023 now, so my Revlon Color Stay Longwear Foundation and the oil and combo that has been an oily girl, a must have for my oily skin. I'm still super obsessed with this and super obsessed with that, and I just want to see, does this compare? So I do have the shade 103, which is the shade that I used to wear back then, and I'm gonna take it on a damp beauty sponge. I'm gonna tap it in, and then I'm gonna start to just put this on the face. Now, my problem back then is that, again, I did not use a damp beauty sponge. I used to use a dry sponge, and or a foundation brush. Now, I was not a foundation brush girly, and I'm still not a foundation brush girly. Like, I'm just not someone that's really into foundation brushes. I don't know why. I just find that, like, I don't know, if I do a foundation brush, I still have to go over it with a damp sponge to make it look nice and blended and like almost airbrush, compared to like if I did it with a dry sponge. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put this right here. I do leave this little area right here alone so I can put my concealer, and then we're gonna go ahead and blend this down the neck so I can match myself. I did get a little bit more of a deeper shade, I guess, by accident, but that's fine. We'll make it work. Side, I never wet my sponge. I used to just put it on with a dry sponge, and I would like a dry sponge or a makeup brush, like I said. So we're going to go in with a dry ass Real Technique sponge, and we're going to just apply it this way. I never really knew about dampening the sponge, honestly, until later on. I think even more towards like my YouTube journeys, when I started to discover like, oh, are you supposed to dampen it? Is that like a thing? I didn't know. I just went in with a dry ass makeup sponge and I would apply the makeup this way. This is how I did it. And I would also take my foundation and I would go all the way under, right here, right? All the way under. I go into my eyes like so. And then I would also like do my makeup first before I would do my eye makeup, just so you guys know. So like I would have foundation on my eyes, and then I would still go in with a like concealer on top of that to try to get it to look good. And I think it's also why way back in the day, if you guys look at my old eyeshadow tutorials, they were very, very, very patchy, because I didn't realize that I was going in foundation and then concealer, being like, okay, now let's put on the eyeshadow. I didn't even realize that I was doing it all wrong. I just thought what I was doing was right, and I was completely wrong. So another thing that I did not do back in the days, I did not really blend it down the neck. I would just go to like right here. That is where I would stop, just like so. So as you guys can see, there definitely already is a difference between the two sides. So this right side does look really nice. It does look really nice. It looks really mattified. It looks super smooth. Whereas this side, you can still see a shine coming through because of the Radiant Skincare. I still actually prefer this side over this side. As much as I'm an oily person, there's something about the lumosity shining through that I'm just really, really enjoying compared to this side. So moving on to our next step. I would go in with a cream contour. So I'm going to take the Morphe Set and Heat in the shade called Flicker. And I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to go ahead and lightly place this right here where I would bronze or contour the face. Same thing on my nose, just a little bit right here, right? Very, very light, very subtle, nothing too intense. And I'm going to take a brush, Makeup by Mario, and we're going to softly just start to blend this out. I absolutely love this Morphe stick, by the way. It's so freaking good. But we're going to take this and we're going to start to just blend this out. That's there. Now I'm going to go in with a liquid blush because, like I said, I like to use a little bit of cream products now compared to before. So I'm just going to take one dot of the Dusty Rose from e.l.f. Maybe 1 or 2 dots, just boom, boom. Very, very light because these are super pigmented. I'm going in with my Makeup by Mario brush. I'm just going to slightly blend that in so it gives me a nice sun-kissed glow. This is so, so pretty. Like, oh my God. Love that. Then I'll just take a little bit of my damp beauty sponge just to kind of blend around the edges. So for concealer, we're going to go into this side. I'm going to go into the Shape Tape. I don't want to make my concealer too bright because then it's going to be a little bit overpowering. I just take it right here and right here. I'm going to take some right here and on my nose, just very, very slightly, right? This is how I do my concealer now. How I do my concealer back then is I would take the brightest concealer. That's not even the brightest concealer. Let me take the brightest concealer that I would have because I thought I'd have to have a bright under eye. And we're going to take this and we're just going to do exactly how I did my concealer back then. Oh yeah, do you guys remember these days? Oh my goodness. You definitely remember this day for sure. Okay, so this side, I'm going to take my IT Cosmetics brush. I'm just going to go ahead and blend this out underneath my under eye. Whatever's left, I will put onto my lid now. Okay, then for this side, we're going to go in with my dry sponge, and then we're going to blend this out because that's what I did. We are blending this out. And then what was ever left on my sponge, I would take and put over my lid. This is literally how I used to do my makeup, guys. It's not even funny. Like, talk about flashback Mary moments. And I feel like we're all kind of guilty of this, right? Because, I mean, that's why that flashback Mary is a meme to begin with like, James Charles. Because, like, he was notorious for having such bright makeup, bright under eyes, and just looking kind of ghostly the way that I look right now. I mean, granted, it's blending, but it's making my face right here super bright. Like, super bright. So, let me go ahead and blend this out right here. Okay, like, look at the difference. Look at the difference between the two sides, right? Like, this side right here, yes, it is a bit more mattified, so it does look a little bit more smooth. This definitely has some radiance to the face, which, again, I'm going to help to tone down when I go in with my setting powder. So, the difference between back then and now is that I'm going to let this sit for just a minute so I can go ahead and take away any excessive concealer that builds up. But we're going to go straight in with setting powder. Now, I don't have the same type of setting powder that I had back then, but I'm going to do something a little close. We're going to go into the Hourglass setting powder right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and take this, and we're just going to go over the face with it. I did not use like a powder puff back then. I just went straight with the brush. We're just going to take my bling brushes, and we're just going to go over the face, because this is what I did. This is how I thought you used to have to set your face. You just take a powder brush. You just put this over your makeup. Just like so. You didn't need to push it in. You didn't need to roll it. You just set your entire face with setting powder. And that is what we are doing right now. With a Q-tip to remove any excessive built up under the eye. Like so. And then I'm going to take my Infallible Blur Perfection setting powder right here. Now, the one that I used to use way back in the day was not Hourglass. It was the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. I absolutely do not like that setting powder, but back then I thought that was what I had to have in order to have really smooth skin, to not have like any like large pores, to help contain the oil, and that is just not the case. So we're going to go with the L'Oreal Blur Perfection. I'm going to take it on my powder puff right here, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to push it against my hand. I'm also going to roll it so that I remove any excess powder, and then we're going to start to just place this under the lid. We're going to start to just bounce this right here and slowly push it in. And then I'm going to set the rest of the face with it, just pushing it into the skin very softly and gently, but making sure I remove any excessive powder in the process. I'm just going to take the 24-hour brow setter right here, just to fill in the brow. Please tell me you guys can tell a difference between the two. Okay, this is how I do my makeup now versus how I did my makeup then. Now, granted, this still looks nice and smooth, but you can definitely see there's a brightness to it. To me, this looks just beautiful. I love when my skin is looking on this side. It just looks a bit more put together. It looks a bit more smoother. This one, just you could tell, like, the skin is just not how I really like it to be a little bit. So moving into bronzer. Now I'm going to go in with powdered bronzer. So into the L'Oreal Infallible bronzer right here, I'm going to take it. I'm going to go ahead and bronze up the area that I laid down that cream bronzer at very lightly. We're just going to go ahead and push this right here. And we're going to start softly bounce in and then diffuse it at the same time. Just very lightly. I don't know where my OG brush bronzer is, but we're going to go into mine that I created with bling brushes. And we're just going to do what I used to do, which was this. I just drag it on the skin. This is how I used to do my bronzer. And then I'd do this, and then I just drag again right here on the skin. See how the one I softly like buffed in? This one, I just would just drag like this. And then I would just kind of leave it like that a little bit. Then, because I was like, ooh, she's not looking blended, I take my brush and I would just slowly just blend over that like this to try to help to diffuse it. And I was like, well, you know what? That is where like my blush and bronzer, that's where my blush is going to hide it, right? Because that's where I thought. But back then I used to use my BK Beauty. I think it wasn't BK Beauty. It was, shit, what was the brand called? Oh my God, what was that brand called? Oh my God, start with me. They went under... Like a Pop Makeup Revolution. Come on, it's not BK Beauty. What was your name? BH Cosmetics. Okay, I used to have the BH Cosmetics blush and bronzer palette. That was my go-to for so long. But anyway, that was my go-to for so long. So that is what I used to use. But do you guys see how harsh that strip is? That is how I used to do it. And like, I never really thought that it would look bad. It just looked like I had, well, a bronze streak across the face. I don't know why I thought that was a look, but somehow I did. Maybe because I genuinely thought I would cover it up with blush. So going on blush now, we're going to go into the Infallible blush right here. And I'm going to be very, very light-handed because I can be very strong-handed. And I'm just going to take it on my brush very lightly. And I also like to go in, I like to tap it ever so slightly, and I build it up. Like I try to build up the color, and I'll blend softly because I can be very, very blush heavy, and sometimes I like a blush heavy moment. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. So like right now, you can see that pigment's there, and I'm just gonna slightly just start to blend very, very lightly. I have not dipped back into the powder because I don't really need to, because that blush is already like slightly there in the face. So it's not too heavy, but it's just kind of like exactly how I like it, right? But I might tap in and really tap off the excess and just lightly one more time. And I feel like, okay, I like how that's looking. Now I'm gonna take my brush that has leftover powder, and we're just gonna softly diffuse that out a little bit more. On this side, do I still have it? Okay, I still have my original like OG blush brush right here. We're gonna go in, and I'm gonna do exactly what I did. I used to do this. This is how I used to do my blush. I would just go in and I'd be like, ooh, okay, she's heavy. But do you see right here how it's like pulled at the makeup and it's like causing it to get displaced? It's making my pores super, super, super visible. It's not a look, right? So then I take it, my brush that had leftover powder again, and I would just start to try to fix it. And if I felt like the blush was too intense, then I would go back in with that same setting powder and I dip it and I try to blend it out to make it not look so harsh. But that's kind of how I did my blush back in the day. I didn't really understand about blending too much, about making sure the colors looked a little softer, more diffused, that you can go in very light-handed, you can build it up, but that you don't need to be so heavy-handed. And but then like I would do that, and then I go, okay, cool, it looks great, and then I go right back in one more time like so. And this is kind of how I did my blush, you know what I mean? But then I thought, okay, my blush, she's looking heavy. So this is how we're gonna fix it, because this is what I used to do back in the day. Now we're gonna do this thing called baking. Oh, do you guys remember the baking days? I'm gonna take my dry ass sponge and we're going to carve out where I used to bake like crazy, right? So I do this. I for some reason would do like the side of my nose, even though like I never even like contoured my nose. And then I leave this right here because I wanted to like heavily bake my face and to like fix my mistake. So I would just, you know, leave stuff like that while I did the rest of my face, because this is just what I was taught and this is how I did my makeup. And this is never how I do my makeup now. So while we're baking, I'm going to do my eyes. So I'm going to go in on this side with just a little bit of bronzer. Very, very, very softly place down some bronzer. And then I'm going to take my Patrick Ta eye topper right here. I'm just going to go into this shade, and we're just going to lightly just kind of press this over the lid. Nothing too much. Now I could add some glitter glue if I want to have a little bit more of an extra pop, but I just want to have a very soft eye look. Nothing too much. That looks like you put some effort into it, but without putting too much effort into it. Does that make sense? So we're just going to softly just place this shadow right here. Like I said, if you wanted to have a better longevity or more pop, you just take some glitter glue and just pop it on the lid, and it's going to have this makeup last. It's going to have this eye look last a lot longer, and it's going to have these shimmers pop a lot more in the lid. But I just wanted something very, very soft and kind of like what I would wear to work. I used to wear the Stila Glitter and Glows, so this is kind of replicating that right there. So I wanted to have something kind of close to it. And this is how I would do it like right now. Something very soft that I know that this is going to last. It's not going to really budge at all. Like I'm not going to be too worried about if some of it flakes off. It's just going to blend really, really nicely together. On this side, we're just going to do what I would have done, which would be taking just a little bit of concealer. Yes, this is what I legitimately did. Take concealer, blend it on the lid, and then I would go in with my Stila Glitter and Glow, but I don't have that. So we're going to do the next best thing, which is going to be the Urban Decay like liquid eyeshadow, and we're just gonna put this all over the lid. And yes, guys, this is literally how I used to do my eye look, although this is a horrible example because that looks really shitty. Well, it seems like the Stila Glitter and Glows worked better than this does, so I'm just gonna kind of wipe at this with my finger. And we're just going to take the Makeup by Mario because that's just not wanting to work. I told you, those are really shitty ass products, by the way. So I'm just going to take my Makeup by Mario, and I'm just going to do this and pretend that it's the Stila Glitter and Glow. But you guys get the premise of what I used to do. I used to take my concealer, and I put the Stila Glitter and Glow down, and it would work just easily. I didn't notice it lifting or having any issues. So we're just going to quickly pretend that that is what I did, because this is looking a little messy, if you guys, if you will. Now that that's done, we're going to take the powder and we're going to go ahead and wipe this away. I feel like you guys can already see a difference, because I can clearly see a difference. Now on this side, I'm going to take my One Size Powder Melt Glass Setting Spray. Love this. We're going to let that melt the side of the face as we do our mascara. So for mascara, I'm going to curl my lashes, and then I'm going to go in with my panoramic mascara as the powder melt dries. And normally I do a waterproof, but since I'm not using waterproof on the other side, I'm going to try to keep it as fair as possible. But I'm going to take the panoramic from L'Oreal. I'm going to go in with this. Okay, so for this side, y'all, do you remember this mascara right here? I found this on the bottom of my drawer as I was doing my declutter. This is definitely pretty old, but we're still going to use it because I used to be obsessed with this back in the day. And I would never curl my lashes beforehand. I would just go in and I would just put this on my lashes. So... wow, okay, I cannot believe this is how I used to do my makeup. This is just so crazy. I only started curling my lashes. I started curling my lashes long ago, and then I used to heat my curler too. I still do that from time to time, like that's not changed. But like, look at the difference. Like, right, this is how I used to go to work. Like, I was crazy that I used to think that this is how I used to lift and separate my lashes. Now, for highlighter, we're gonna go into the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Highlighter right here. I absolutely love this highlighter. I'm going to take it on my fan brush. I'm just going to lightly just place this right here ever so softly. Look at that glow. I freaking love that highlight. It's so pretty. I'm also going to take a little bit of it. I'm going to go right here on my nose, which is how I would do it back then too. Just a little bit right here. So pretty. I know the mascara is kind of transferred, but we're going to ignore that for now because I just want you to see like how I used to do my makeup versus then. Now, back then, I used to take my ColourPop Flexterian highlighter, which I still have. Koa. I take it on my finger, and I used to apply my highlighter like this from the Flexterian. Because I didn't know that you can like use a brush, and sometimes I use my sponge, but I thought like applying with your finger was like the best way to apply because I felt that it used to just melt into the skin. I mean, it can work, but do you see like the difference between the two? So this is the one with my brush, and then this is the one with my finger. Do we see a difference? I feel like we do. Okay, then for lips, let me go ahead and clean my lips off. I used to never, ever use lip liner, but we're definitely using it today. I'm going to go into the NYX lip liner right here. This is going to be in the shade called Subtle Touch. We're going to go ahead and line my lip. If you go back and watch my old content, you guys would see that I never line my lips back in the day. And then I'm going to slightly fill that in. And then I'm going to take my Fenty Beauty Tulip Kiss. Place that right here, right? So that's how I do my lips now. How I do my lips then is I would take like my Maybelline lifter gloss. This is going to be in the shade called Moon, and I would just do this right here. Like so. Then to finish it off on this side, I'm going to take my Givenchy finishing powder right here. I absolutely love the Prism Libre powder. We're going to take this, take my finishing powder, and we're going to go over right where I have all of my trouble spots, like my large pores where I get super oily. And we're going to go ahead and just finish this off with my finishing powder right here. I absolutely love this finishing powder. And then I would take then I'm going to go in my matte setting spray. God, that's so intense. But on this side, I just used any setting spray that I had. So I'm just going to go in the Charlotte Tilbury one. And that's how I'd set my face on this side. Okay, guys, so this is the finished look right here. As you guys can see, my makeup does look different. Some parts look the same, but at the end of the day, they do look different. This side looks really soft and blurred. You can definitely see a little bit of radiance. You can definitely see some radiance coming through, but you are also going to see it being nice and mattified. It's soft, it's blurred, but I could also tell you that this side is going to look like this all day. It is not going to budge, and it's why I absolutely love doing it this way. This right here, she's looking a little bit more harsh. My brow isn't done. My eye makeup is messy. The highlighter is just way too intense. She's just way too intense. She's not blended. She just kind of put on the blush. It's there, but you can definitely see where it's kind of harsh underneath my skin. My pores are super, super present. They're super visible. You can see the stark difference between the neck and the face. You can see a big difference there. And overall, I hate the way my mascara looks, and I just think that this is just kind of a rough look. And like I said, I used to never do my lips, and for me, I can't imagine not lining my lips now. So overall, it's not too bad. I'm sure from a difference you might not be able to tell a big difference, but for me, I could definitely see a drastic difference. The only thing I can really do now to step it up is to do an eyeshadow the way I do it now versus how I do it then. Oh, I could definitely do that in another video because that was really, really rough. But I think this was really fun. I mean, like, granted, I was very, very new into makeup back in 2016. I did wear it, but I didn't really understand a lot of what I was doing. This right here is going to get super oily. It's going to get super greasy within a few hours compared to this side. But I just, I really loved makeup. I wanted to dabble in it, and I thought I looked really good at the time compared to like how it looks now. So with that said, let me go ahead and zoom you guys on out. Let me know what you guys think down below. Does my makeup look the same? Does it look better now? Did it look better then? I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of this? I think recreating a makeup that I used to do long ago is so much fun. I wish I still had the same makeup products, but unfortunately I do not. But this was a lot of fun. I definitely want to do another video where I do a full face of doing 2016 makeup look, like how people used to do it then versus how I used to do it, because this is a no for me. But I generally just want to see if I can actually pull it off, because like I said, at that time I really wasn't dabbling too much in makeup, and I just want to know, could I now rock the 2016 makeup look compared to then? So let me know your thoughts down below about this style video, if you guys like this style video, and how did you guys used to do your makeup in 2016? I want to hear from you. So with that said, guys, that is it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please make sure you guys give this video a cheeky thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you guys have not already. So I do post 3 to 4 videos every single week. Make sure you guys head over to my other channels, Are for Life. You guys get to see my cool, wonderful adventures, my amazing husband, Corey. And as always, the biggest thank you goes to these beautiful, wonderful page members right here. Thank you guys so much for everything. And to my subscribers and viewers, thank you guys so much for being here. Whether you guys like this video, you guys thumbs down this video, you guys subscribed, you guys did not subscribe, either way, thank you guys so much for being here. I love and appreciate each and every single one of you. So with that said, guys, I love you, and I'll see you guys in the very next video.